Hi children, welcome to History class, Chapter 8, Devotional Paths to the Divine, Part 2. In Part 1, we discussed about the idea of Supreme God, Nayanars and Alvars, philosophies of Shankara, Ramanuja, Basavanna, etc. Today, we are going to discuss about the saints of Maharashtra, Nath Pandis, Siddhas and Yogis, Islam and Sufism, and new religious developments in North India. So let's start with the topic the saints of Maharashtra. From 13th to 17th centuries, there were number of saint poets lived in Maharashtra. They sang songs in simple Marathi language. Many people were inspired by these songs. The most famous saint poets were Jnaneshwar, Namdev, Eknath, Tukaram, Sakubhai Chokamela and his family members. In that region, people worshipped Vishnu on Vitala temple in Pandarpur village. Vitala means a form of Vishnu. Saint poets rejected all forms of ritualism. Ritualism means excessive devotion to rituals. They also rejected outward display of piety. Piety means devotion, and they rejected social differences based on birth. They preferred to live with their families and were against renunciation. They believed that bhakti lay in sharing others' pain. Narsi Mehta, who was a famous Gujarati saint and a devotee to Vishnu, and he said, they are Vaishnavas who understand the pain of others. During that period, Marathi saints also wrote Abhang. Marathi devotional hymn is called Abhang. Saint poets who wrote Abhang were Tukaram and Chokamela's son Karmamela. Next topic is Nathpandis, Siddhas and Yogis. Nathpandis, Siddhas and Yogis were the religious groups emerged during the medieval period. They criticized rituals and other aspects of religion and social order by using simple logical arguments. They advocated renunciation of the world. Renunciation means to withdraw completely from society in order to lead a spiritual life. According to them, the path to salvation lay in meditation on the formless ultimate reality. They advised the people to practice yogasanas, breathing exercises, and meditation to attain salvation. These groups were popular among low caste. Now we are going to talk about Islam and Sufism. The sons, also called saints, had much in common with the Sufis. They shared their ideas with each other. Sufis were Muslim mystics or Islamic saints. They rejected outward religiosity. They emphasized love and compassion to fellow human beings and devotion to God. Sufism is more prominent among Sunnis. Sufis pray to saints because a connection with a saint can build a connection with God Allah. Islam propagated strict monotheism. Monotheism means to worship one God. They rejected idol worship. Muslim scholars developed a holy law called Shariat. Sufis rejected elaborate rituals and codes of behavior demanded by Muslim religious scholars. They expressed their feelings through poems and rich literature in prose. Famous Sufis of Central Asia were Ghazali, Rumi, and Sadi. Sufis believed that the heart can be trained to look at the world in a different way. They developed different methods of training like Sikar, Sama, contemplation, and rags, discussion of parables, breath control, etc. All these things are practiced under the control of a Sufi master. Sikar means ritual prayer, Sama means singing, contemplation means meditation, rags means dancing, parables means simple stories. A genealogy of Sufi teachers called silsilas helped people in practicing the principles of Sufism. From 11th century onwards, large number of Sufis from Central Asia settled in India. Delhi sultans also supported this, and during that time, major Sufi centers were developed in India. Most influential among them was Chishti Silsila. Famous teachers of this silsila were Khwaja Moinuddin Chishti of Ajmer, Qutbuddin Bakhtiyar Kaki of Delhi, Baba Farid of Punjab, Khwaja Nizamuddin Alia of Delhi, and Banda Nawaz Jisudaras of Gulbarg. They held their assemblies in khanqahs or hospices. Hospice means a house of rest of religious travelers. Devotees from all categories, including royalty, nobility, and ordinary people, gathered here and discussed spiritual matters, or they attend music and dance sessions. The tomb or dargah of a Sufi saint was considered as a pilgrimage center. New religious developments in North India. After 13th century, a new style of bhakti movement emerged in North India. During that time, new kingdoms emerged there, and people were taking up new professions. Saints from all religions influence each other. People like craft persons, peasants, and traders listened to the new ideas of new saints. Some of the famous saints of that period were Kabir, Tulasidas, Guru Nanak, Dadu Dayal, Ravidas, Mirabai, etc. Kabir and Baba Guru Nanak rejected all orthodox religions. Orthodox religions means the religions which have more traditional beliefs. Tulasidas and Surdas accepted existing beliefs and made them accessible to all. They were saints devoted to Vishnu. Tulasidas worshipped God in the form of Rama. He wrote Ramacharita-manas in Awadhi language. This work is very important both as a literary work and a religious book. Surdas was a devotee of Krishna, and to express his devotion, he wrote Sursagara, Sursaravali, and Sahitya Lahari. Shankaradeva was a Vaishnava devotee, and he composed poems and plays in Assamese. He practiced Namgas, which means a prayer house where the devotees present as the congregation sing the name of God. they composed poems in regional languages. These poems became very popular and were handed down orally from generation to generation. The poorest and most deprived communities and women transmitted these songs by adding their own experiences. Thus, these songs become a part of our living popular culture. Now it's time to wind up the class. Thank you.